Welcome back to the GSL. We've seen some pretty quick games here. I did not expect that series to last as short as it did, but wow, Next Genius is just such a solid player. He knows how to kill you very, very quickly.
He does.
I mean, that cannon rush was really good.
He'll kill you.
Yep. That cannon rush we actually saw is a cannon rush you can do in StarCraft 1, but it wasn't nearly as powerful because it was based off you not being able to spot the cannons or spotting the cannons too late. In StarCraft 2, because the cannons are so strong, you can actually just make the cannons while they watch, and you get killed off.
The 2 Zealots there, that was it. It was all perfectly timed out. You knew what to do. And the game was his, and the match.
And if you're a newbie at home and you're wondering, why didn't he stay? He only lost the expansion hatchery. You're basically dead as Zerg if you lose that first hatchery.
You lost a lot of drones. You lost Zerglings. You lost the hatchery, a queen over there.
So that's why, because we know that there's all sorts of skill sets here. By the way, I've been told to inform you guys, I know there were apparently, we just found this out, some problems with the high-quality stream that should be fixed now. We do apologize about that at GOM TV. And we also have a live chat channel. Ooh. So you can be watching the games and be like, oh my god, the casters are so good, LOL. Oh my god, Fruit Dealer's so good, OMG. You can do that on our chat channel. Please feel free to do that. Obviously, you probably have to sign up, but feel free to do that.
I would think so.
We want to make GOMTV.net better and better and better for you guys.
We do.
We really do. From the bottom of our hearts. So tell us a little bit about our next match, Artosis.
All right. Well, we have one of your favorite players, OGS InCa.
I love InCa.
The architect of that amazing cannon rush. He's going to be going up against Aya, a Terran player. And Aya, I actually don't really know anything about Aya. I don't think I've hit him on the ladder or anything. I'm a little bit...
I've never encountered him. I have no idea. I don't know much about Aya at all. But he's kind of like a new player. Sometimes this means... it's going to be an easy match for InCa. Sometimes this means we're going to see a dark horse in the tournament.
Well, InCa...
We don't even really have... We actually, on our information sheet, we have nothing about him either.
Yeah, well, InCa, he's a very good player. We saw him. He's a PvP master, as we saw. He's actually more confident against Zerg, but, of course, Fruit Dealer 6-pooled him. And we did not really get to see anything out of InCa aside from
one of the best games of the whole tournament.
That was a good game.
That was a good game.
I'm not going to lie. First time I was really happy to see a 6-pool, to be perfectly honest. But still... He's a great player. We just haven't seen his Protoss vs. Terran in this tournament yet. Now, he's done astoundingly well in Korea, one of the Protosses that has always been up at the top, along with Kisu. But he made it in the season. Kisu did not, so InCa is where it's at, man. We're going to see how he does against Aya. We were speaking to Spunky earlier, and he has some pretty interesting stuff ready for Delta Quadrant.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see that stuff, because InCa's games, not only his build order is so good, but sometimes it's just like... It's like his strategy starts, and it's like the beautiful mind music starts to play, like in the game. Like, the cannon rush he did on Metalopolis was that's so smart. It's like you actually just understand how the whole game works, so you're not even gonna have to play it the way it's supposed to be played. You're just gonna win. InCa, of course, very frustrated he did not make it to the finals, which he was really expecting to do, and easily, in my opinion, at this point in time, the best player in OGS.
I might be able to go with you on that.
That's my personal opinion.
They just picked up Nada. We don't really know how good he is yet. But,
I have a feeling
and
InCa
Snare's
might
in
be
there
stronger.
too. He's pretty good. But I might go with
InCa. I'm still going to go with InCa.
I think it's a very smart,
it's safe.
good choice.
It's a handsome choice by me, actually.
I'm impressed, Asus.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and zoom into our players now. There he is, OGS InCa.
That's right.
His rank is a sergeant.
Okay.
That's great. He's a sergeant.
Now,
all right.
Is a sergeant actually lower than a second lieutenant? Because remember, Fruit Dealer was a second lieutenant, right? I don't really know a lot about these ranks.
I know we have a lot of guys on the U.S. military base out here that have watched that, so maybe somebody can explain that to us. But he is a sergeant, and I got to say, a very, very deadly Protoss player.
Yeah.
He does better than all the other players on OGS in the team practice leads.
Yeah.
Spunky is absolutely confident. Spunky, the leader of OGS, absolutely confident that this guy's going to dominate. This player should not be confused with InCa in the United States, two different InCas. That one spells his name with a K. Two very good Protoss players, both with a very similar name.
Well, Aya. What can we say about Aya?
Well, what we could say about A is that we just don't know much about this guy. It doesn't mean he can't beat InCa, but I mean, it does mean that, InCa probably doesn't know much about this guy either. He's a recruit. He was not in the tournament last season. Of course, there are a ton of people switching over to StarCraft 2. Many important players, but many unknowns as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, Aya looks like he might be one of the older players in the tournament, but we don't know. Terran player, of course.
He might like movies. He might not. We don't know much about him.
He may, in fact, love movies. He might like popcorn with butter and salt, but he might like it plain also.
He might like it with caramel. We don't know.
No.
What we do know is that he is a very kind of unknown here. The InCa is one of the more competent players. When you talk to him even before games, like we have, he's competent. He's actually almost to the point of being cocky, but I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Shows a little bit of personality.
I like cocky people.
Yeah. That's why we're friends.
Yeah, that's it, man. I like tasteless. Well, it's time to look at the maps.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty interesting how the maps went here.
Tell me.
Well, we had removed by OGS InCa, we had Steps of War and Lost Temple. Now, Steps of War, I kind of understand. It's just so close. Some of these Marauder-filled pressure rushes can be quite hard. Lost Temple, obviously, he doesn't want siege tanks on his cliff. That's reasonable. Okay. So those ones I'm not really excited about. It's what Aya removed. He removed Blistering Sands and Shakuris Plateau. Now, Blistering Sands, okay, yeah, a lot of people just don't like the map. But Shakuris Plateau, it's kind of like a big map, which, obviously Terran does like smaller maps, but I don't know. I feel like there's other choices. He might have something
planned kind of weird on that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm wondering. I actually think that's such a good map, but
It's a great map.
I'm surprised.
I don't know about it in this matchup exactly, but it's kind of wide. It can really pay big dividends for harassment-based strategies.
That's very true. Counterattacking pretty tough.
It's just a very long map. So I'm interested that he took that out. I am. I don't know if it's good or bad. It's hard to say exactly. It just might be a map he doesn't feel that confident on.
All right. As we were talking about, first set map going to be on Metalopolis, one of the best maps we've seen in StarCraft 2. Very balanced map.
Yep.
Not perfectly balanced, but certainly balanced enough for a brand new game.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the maps where you actually see some really good games on. It's long enough that you can actually have players get into the macro game and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the second set, it's funny that they call it set, because set means like more than one. I just want to throw that out there. It's always bothered me. Second set on Delta Quadrant, and then suddenly the third set, Zelnar Caverns. All good maps. The Delta Quadrant game is the one that InCa is really confident about.
Yeah.
Really good strategy from there in Protoss vs. Terran. Something that a more amateur player like Aya is going to have a very hard time dealing with. Very pressure-filled build. We'll get into that later. But Metalopolis is going to be the first map. If they make it that far, Zelnaga Caverns as the third. And we've seen a lot of good games on that map.
Certainly. And another thing to keep in mind is that when we see these guys play in the booth for the first time, that's when you can get a little bit nervous, a little bit jittery, that so many people are watching and stuff. And Adia is actually having problems with his mouse driver. So we're going to have a little bit of a delay. No sweat. I don't know if that means we're going to go to the next game. We could do that if it takes too long.
Yeah,
of course,
the mouse take too long.
The mouse is pretty important when you play StarCraft.
Yeah, it really is.
So, we want to be fair to these guys. Obviously, one thing about esports is that it is played through the vehicle of a computer. And computers always have technical problems. So we're going to try to get that fixed as soon as possible. We have people updating us. And we will let you guys know when we're going to get this started.
All right. Well, let's talk about some other stuff that I'm interested in.
Sure. It's like your favorite color?
Yeah. Tasteless, what's your favorite? No.
Red.
Red, really? Mine's blue.
I wore it to work today.
Wow. No, but seriously, I think this season, in my opinion, Clyde's going to take it. Okay?
You think Clyde?
I think the play I saw from him last season was just too beautiful, and I think that he's actually probably the most skilled player in the world. That's my opinion. Who do you think is going to take it this season?
I would say, can I name more than one?
Name a few if you like.
Say Clyde or InCa or Fruit Dealer. Or Hydra, of course.
I think those are pretty good choices.
Well, I mean, a lot of it's going to depend on how the first when we get to the round of 32 because Well, really, when you look at brackets, when you're this far along, it's like, well, you could play against one of these other, 15 people. Like
the brackets aside, I think that definitely with Kisu out this season, I am feeling Next Genius is the best Protoss in the tournament.
And InCa.
Yeah, InCa's quite good, but I don't think that he is Next Genius level. That is my true thought on that. Next Genius, a StarCraft 1 pro gamer, InCa not.
It's true.
And
that is true.
That's a good way to measure, who's who.
That is true.
So that's something to keep in mind.
We'll hopefully get this mouse driver fixed pretty soon. I personally, as you have, since we both pro gamers, experience this problem. It's very stressful. Hopefully this doesn't get into Aya's head too much. Because, when you are actually, it's match time, and you're like, listen, my mouse is not working. It does not feel like my mouse at home. I installed the mouse drivers. It's not working. And you cannot make me play like this.
Yeah, of course.
Because
I don't think
we're not going to do that to him.
But no, can't you just play? Like, of course not. Of course
gosh,
not.
The time.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to let the guy get his equipment working. It's like making somebody play with a baseball glove that's not theirs,
Yeah.
in a game of baseball.
I think it's worse than that, Taste, to be perfectly honest.
Playing with
you.
basketball shoes on that actually are too small for you. And you can't
I think it's worse than that, too. I think it's more like you are a NASCAR driver, and they want you to play in the NBA. It's like, well, no, I've never done this.
I think
you
that
don't
would be
play
like you're a StarCraft player, and all of a sudden you got to play Quake, and you're like, oh,
okay, that's a good way, but that's staying within the realm of computer games. So
that's true.
I liked mine a little bit better.
I don't know. I thought mine was pretty good.
How about a race car driver, and they want you to drive a boat?
Now we have our player in the booth. I do believe we're going to get this started, hopefully very soon here.
Yeah, he's joined the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's time.
Have not played this guy as far as I can remember.
We're going to learn a little bit about him when this game gets going. And, PBT, great matchup. Actually, my favorite matchup to cast here. Let's get going. And once again, I will load last. No, actually, I don't. OGS InCa loading the slowest. Here we go. OGS InCa at the top center.
OGS InCa.
A lot of fans for him down here today. I don't know if you can hear the cheering. Over here at the bottom center is going to be our blue Terran player. He is known as Aya. We've been saying Aya, but apparently it's Aya. All right. Very far distances on this map.
Yeah, especially in the spots that they've spawned in. That is just so far away. And, I believe in this matchup, the Protoss player is going to like that more.
Yeah, for sure.
They're a little bit more mobile than the Terran are. And, of course, as you walk across the map with your Marine Marauder force, it's going to lose value.
Oh,
whereas
certainly.
if you walk across the map with the Colossus force, it doesn't lose as much value.
It loses equity.
Now that, I know, it's true. It's really hard for me to actually dumb that down and explain it, but it kind of is true. You want to hit people quick when it's a weaker unit overall. Because you kind of get them out for timings more, whereas a Colossus is a longer game, end game type of unit that you're always going to be making, whereas Marine Marauder might get a little bit weaker with time.
Now here's something I want to point out, because just to kind of emphasize what Artosis was saying. So they come out here, but then there's this region over here which can be very difficult to engage, and they have to get all the way across that to this location. So this is maybe a very, very long game we're going to see here.
Could be. Could be a very short game as well. You never know. StarCraft.
Best game in the world.
That's right. You better believe it.
Cybernetic score on the way out here. And Protoss player's finally going to start scouting. He will find the Terran player a little bit later. And probably InCa will be unable to get any intel at all. The Marines are going to be at the ramp.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to get up that ramp even a little bit. He's going to see nothing except basically a Marine. Now, I don't like what that Marine's doing. Look at that jig. I don't like it.
He's doing a little dance.
Yeah. I just don't like it, too. So I don't like it when people put their things on patrol just to make them look funny. Because patrol is like a funny command.
He's going to get pretty sick if he keeps doing that.
Yeah. I'm going to get pretty sick if he keeps doing that.
He's going to bite his tongue. He's having a seizure. Now here comes the probe up here, which will probably cause the seizure to stop here for the Marine.
Yeah. He's going to want to chase that probe out.
Chases him out easily. Double barracks. Now, this could turn out to be pretty bad if he is, in fact, going to go for a time and attack. Scouting Reaper timing.
Yeah, that's a good. The delayed Reaper, of course, always gets in the base and sees a lot of stuff. A very useful unit to just make one of here and there.
Now, the Protoss does get a Stalker right away in this matchup because he wants to kill a Reaper, anything else that could do damage to him.
It's interesting. That Reaper's actually looking for the probe, which hid very nicely at the third base area of the Terran.
Right here.
There he is, chilling.
Not far from the Mink statue.
No.
Hopefully not a Mink supporter.
He's Protoss. Of course he's a Mink supporter.
Here we go. Now, note sentry position here. Stalker here. He wants to catch this Reaper as it tries to go up in here.
He's used to this type of delayed Reaper play. It's very good.
You got to be careful because the Reaper can actually just shoot the sentry.
Yeah, it'll kill the sentry one-on-one, no problem.
Oh! Nice! Damn!
Wow.
That was good.
That was really good. Superb right there. He just reacted perfectly. You can tell these guys are practicing so much just like StarCraft 1, and it is paying off.
That was really impressive. Pylon over here. Looks like we have some kind of rush. He needs to get these Marauders to chase this probe and not check this region up here. If this is spotted, it's going to be bad. Protoss moving out now.
Pretty interesting. He's going to start pressuring with, he's actually
DT
going...
rush.
Yeah, he's going to pressure and then warp some DTs in.
He sees it.
And that is not something that I believe InCa planned on happening.
Yeah.
Because he definitely wants to warp in the Dark Templars close to the Terran base. But it looks like he's going to have to just warp in at home and walk them over there. It's going to, of course, make them a little bit less effective. The longer you give the Terran, the more likely it is he's going to be prepared for it.
Now, one thing about good Terran players is that they're very on the ball when it comes to dropping mules. And that means they might not have a scan that's ready in time.
That's right. Now, he does have the engineering bay going up, so he's going to be able to make turrets once he realizes that DTs are being made. But he's got to have that scan or two to stop the initial damage.
We do see a pylon being made here. Terran, unaware of its presence. It's moving out right now.
Yeah, he's going to want to warp those DTs in close.
2 DTs on the way.
Here we
and
go.
Unfortunately, the Terran's timing attack might be just god-awful.
There is a turret here. Look at that. Beautiful turret placement.
Gets up into the main. No turret here.
Oh, look at this. Just going to send these out. But the force coming back, I think that's a terrible move to just turn around against 2 DTs. The fact that he has DTs means he's going to be light on units at home, especially when you have Stim. The very bad choice there to go home. Very bad choice.
He does kill 1 Dark Templar. Now he does have enough scans. Well, he actually only has 1 scan. So it's going to have to be perfect. He's going to have to make sure the Marauder stuns the Dark Templar. And there he goes. But he doesn't have the concussive grenade. Stim.
Yeah, is kind of falling apart here. Look at this. More DTs just walking in. Just waltzing right in there. He's going to be able to kill a lot here. There are no scans prepared quite yet. And it's just going to work on SCVs and Marauders.
He's got a scan ready now. Note how he's splitting up the Dark Templars.
Yep, that's the way to do it. Oh! Catches it with the concussive grenades.
But there's still 1 more Dark Templar remaining, up here.
There he is. There is a missile turret going up. And the Dark Templar, yeah, that was...
Now remember, he killed the Dark Templars, but that also means he didn't make mules.
That's right. He had to use actually 3 scans. He lost a lot of SCVs. His attack timing, which actually could have done a decent amount of damage, he turned it around, which is just not a good move. But
yeah, I agree.
InCa in a great position, getting charged for Zealots. A very Zealot-based army, a light army here with Sentry Zealot, is going to be the perfect counter to what we see here, which is just going to be Marine Marauder with no medevacs.
Factory finally on the way. Very late factory.
Yeah. His economy is pretty trash at this point.
It's trash.
It's trash.
It's trash.
It's 59 supply against 87. And if we take a look at the unit counting station, 53 probes against 25 SCVs. Yeah, InCa is a little bit ahead.
Now, finally, the Terran can keep dropping mules.
That's going to help him to catch up his supply for sure. But InCa is in a great place. Now, what I think we're going to see actually is InCa attack. And we've actually seen him do this last season as well against Rexan Dark. Actually, he did some attack timings that I really did not approve of. I feel like right here, when he's this far ahead, take a third base. You want that third base up as Protoss against Terran.
Seems like a lot of these players are trying to finish off their opponent once they get ahead.
Yeah, and there's no reason for it. This is an economy-based RTS game. Work on your economy. Get your economy better. Take that third base, tech up a little bit. And what's he going to do? Walk across the map with all these damaged units, no medevacs, no real tech, after you hurt his economy that badly? No, he's not. So you're totally fine to do that.
SCV moving out.
And even if he does that, you're going to be able to hold it. I mean, I can't even explain how good of a move it would be to expand right now. He's not doing it. He's
not doing it. He's scanning again. I think that was actually a pretty big mistake. Because that's another lost mule, which this SCV was going to get intel on this anyways.
You're very right, Tasis. It was kind of a waste. He's definitely nervous, as you can see. What he should be doing is just kind of blindly going against his opponent. You know, InCa's too good to lose against, someone who's wasting scans like that.
Honestly, but InCa's smiling every time he sees him scanning.
Yeah,
he's like, all right.
Yeah, you got to take every little thing that you can to get ahead.
He's going to get one Raven here. You might want to use point defense drone, but really the Zealots with the leg upgrade is going to be the killer here.
I feel like it's going to be, just auto turrets falling out of that guy. Maybe a point defense drone if he has it, but more for detection. Dark Templar tech already out.
Double Robo all the way. And he's going to go ahead and get the Thermal Lance upgrade.
Yeah, he's just sitting on 2 base, so he's letting the Terran economy catch up. In fact, I don't know. It's I wish he would make that third base. It looks like he may now that he's actually got his tech up.
InCa with a probe here to spot for an expansion. He does have a pylon here, so he can see if the gold base is going to be taken. Meanwhile, double Colossus.
Yep. I guess he just is playing ridiculously safe. He expects some sort of all-in retribution.
Retribution.
That's right. I wonder if when our Terran player attacks, he'll yell, "Ah-ya!"
It reminds me of the Terran player, "Hi-ya."
Oh, yeah.
In StarCraft 1. It's the same sound that ninjas make.
Yeah.
So you got to respect a name like that.
That sound a ninja makes, you got to respect it.
You got to respect it.
Yeah, absolutely. Ninjas are fearsome.
Not as fearsome as pirates, but you can't name yourself Yarg.
Yarg?
Yarg.
Argos would be a good ID. I'm Arctosis. It's my Halloween ID.
Spots the SCV there. He sees that his opponent is going to move out here. InCa is going to have to get his troops in position. I don't think this attack is going to work, but you never know. InCa could miss micro. He scans again.
He is keeping track of what's going on here.
But you see, he's just spotted that army.
I think he's going to use the map distance against InCa at this point by taking that third base. Throw up a planetary, it's going to be pretty hard to engage that.
InCa does seem to have a timing attack on the way. He could take this out right as it finishes, right before it finishes.
And he is going for it. Not good positioning for these Terran units. They're going to walk up in a funnel. And that is a fearsome army right there.
Here we go.
Here we go. The Zealots charging. And the Colossi just doing so much damage. But good kiting so far. And I believe we did have a point defense drone there for a moment. It looks like, a lot of force fields is going to have to cancel that command center. Blinks the Stalkers ahead. Colossi of removing those force fields. And they're just doing so much damage here, man.
This is it. There's just too many Colossus out here.
But it looks like he's going to end up holding it.
Oh my God. The upgrades must be very good for the Terran here.
Yeah, it's got the +1.
+1 there. He shouldn't have blinked forward.
No, that was
a mistake.
That was a mistake. Now, he's going to lose that unit He cannot be happy with that. Oh, he doesn't lose it. Warps in some... Oh, he is going to lose it. Never mind. Goodbye. There you go. But some Immortals are out. Now, that was such blunderous play. He didn't even kill the command center. Terrible play there by InCa. You know, as I was saying, take the expansion when you're so far ahead. Instead, he sat there, made a bunch of units, then attacked while his next was finishing. This is something we saw him do against Ro64. Clearly, he doesn't understand the very basics of that type of attack.
Yeah, that was a pretty big mistake there by him to push out. But I think, honestly, he could have won that battle had he engaged it correctly.
Yeah, if he had just stayed on the high ground.
You just beat up the command center until it's gone.
Yeah, and then you just run away.
Turn around. He actually tried to knock him all the way back to here.
I'm not entirely sure about this attack that we're seeing here. A lot of Vikings involved, but he switched over to Immortals, which I really like from InCa.
Yeah, lots of Marauders here. He will get that Nexus canceled.
This is actually a really interesting tech switch by InCa. You know, he's going High Templars at this point. He's also going Immortals out of those robotics and getting a lot of upgrades as well. I really do like InCa's tech switch here. It's quite awesome.
Well, it's pretty smart because the Terran is just now making a bunch of Vikings. These are useless now. So that is one very smart move InCa's done this game.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, that could actually end it because now that the Terran has made a bunch of Vikings, I mean, he's going to have to land him, and Vikings suck against Immortals anyways.
Yeah, no, Vikings are just terrible on the ground against anything Protoss has, really. But he is going to do a little drop into the Protoss base in a moment here. Here we go. Here we go. And Marauders being dropped out, being stemmed. Trying to take out some of these units that are warping in.
The Zealots, though.
Oh, and I think we just saw feedback.
Yes, we did.
In the meantime, this fearsome army is coming down. That's actually a really fearsome army, man. That is a good tech switch.
Yeah, that's a really nice tech switch.
And let's go down and take a look at this. The Zealots charging in. Beautiful side storms, but the Zealots getting hit by the brunt of those ones. And some really good kiting by our Terran player, but no, he does not have enough units. InCa has so much more right now. Very nice moves here by InCa.
InCa just with a brilliant tech switch, now making Archons. And of course, these Immortals so strong against the Marauders.
Yeah, doing so much damage, and that command center gonna blow up. Blinking up to the high ground. GG from Aya. And InCa, despite the gross misplay of attacking cross map like that with the Colossi.
Nice recovery.
Yeah, he recovers beautifully with an awesome tech switch. I really like that. I haven't actually seen a tech switch like that in Protoss vs. Terran in the GSL yet.
It was a really, really adroit way to handle the situation. To see, okay, look, I'm really behind, and of course, a lesser Protoss player would keep making Colossus.
Yeah, he'd be like, well, Colossus are good against
this. I don't know, I mean,
like,
you know, not thinking, and then to see him just say, well, I'm going to turn my disadvantage into an advantage by getting just Immortals. And you saw it, all these all these Vikings just standing there, floating there, waiting for a standing Colossus. Now all they can do is land. And please talk for a minute. I got to read this note.
All right. Anyways.
All right. We're going to turn the game clock on for you guys.
And Gisato is going to start broadcasting tomorrow, scheduled after the GSL.
That's right.
Gisato, very famous Korean streamer in the community.
Right.
Does a lot of King of the Hills. So pretty interesting. Definitely
updates for you guys.
Yeah. But anyways, about that game, InCa did make that big blunder, but the tech switch is awesome. I want to see more play like that when someone invests so heavily in Marauder Viking.
Well, that's like such an educational moment when you see something like that and you're like, oh my God, that's really awesome. Like, I really learned so much. Let's get ready. Game number 2.